What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. In this episode, I got some exciting news for you. You may or may not heard of this, but there have been patents that have been filed in the United States, in the Philippines, Europe, as well as the UK. Well, UK is Europe, but you know what I'm saying. Now that they're separated. As you know, in my last episode, I created a topic about the prices of R6s skyrocketing. So that's another thing that we need to talk about. Will the prices deflate once a Yamaha R9 is announced and there's a set date? The other thing is, will it be as good as the R6? Because the R6 has been around for nearly 20 years. So this and a couple of other things is what we're going to be talking about in this episode. But my oh my, look at this gorgeous view. It is absolutely beautiful. Too bad we got to leave now. Orange County has some really breathtaking scenery, and this is absolutely no exception. Man. So yeah, the YZF R9. And if you want to know anything about the R9, all we need to do is take a look at the MT-09, because the MT-09 is hovering somewhere around 118 horsepower. I've yet to review the brand new 2021 or 22, I forgot which one it is, MT-09. I do have an offer to review one from the dealership that I bought this motorcycle in, but they want me to go back there and schedule an appointment. And guys, I am so lazy, man. I'm out here in Orange County and I gotta drive an hour and a half to get there. I gotta do it. I know I have to do it. But regardless, even though I haven't test ridden the bike, I've reviewed the previous generation, and boy, it's a lot of fun. As you already know, it's a naked motorcycle. It's got quite a torquey engine, and you feel a lot of it down low in the RPM ranges. I'm really curious to find out what the prices of the new R9s, when they come out, how much they're going to be. The current generation of the MT-09 is about $9,500, I believe, and the SP model is about $1,000 more. So if they come out with an R9, I'm assuming that the prices are going to be similar to the SP model, but probably about $1,000 or $1,500 more, because it's got fairings and all plastic pieces and everything else that the MT-09 doesn't have. Bastard. Full-fared bikes are usually a little bit more expensive than naked bikes, as you know. Not to mention, the insurance for fully fared bikes is a lot more expensive as well because of those plastic parts. Plastic parts are really expensive. Tesla boy trying to race me. The front wheel lifted up. That's the first time that ever happened. The thing I like mostly about the new Yamaha MT-09 SP, which is going to get transferred over to the R9, is the fact that the electronics are fully decked out. It has an IMU system, slide control, wheelie control, all that good stuff that is in the Yamaha R1. And I'm glad that finally something that is comparable to the previous generation R6, which is the one I'm riding now, is going to be beefed up with all new electronics. Not only will it be safer on the street, but I think it'll be better to ride on the track as well. Some of you might disagree, but for me, I like more of a raw experience. So I'd have to ride one back to back between this one and that one on the track to figure out which one I like more. I think exciting times are ahead, believe it or not. On one side you have the Daytona, which is a triple engine, and then on the other side you have the R9, which is also going to be a triple engine. I'm very curious to find out if Yamaha is going to keep the 118 CP3 engine, or they're going to beef it up a little bit, obviously with electronics. I'm really hoping that it gets a little bit more power than the MT-09, but we'll find out when that happens. Now, as far as prices for the current generation R6, as I mentioned before, they have increased a whole lot. The used market right now is selling pretty much for the same price as a brand new one from like 6 months to 12 months ago. In the current generation, which is between the 2017 model and 2020 model, with like 10 or 15,000 miles, I've been looking at Cycle Trader that are selling for about $11,000 to $12,000, which is ridiculous. So I'm wondering if that trend will continue, and I have a pretty good hunch that the prices for R6s, they're not going to be coming down, mainly for a few reasons, and let me know if you agree or disagree with this. Number one, the 4-cylinder engine is an absolute peach. It revs out all the way to 16,000 RPM, and the inline-4 engine makes one of the best sounds in the entire world. Yamaha is a tuning fork company. They make pianos, so they know what they're doing when it comes to sound. But the sound of this R6 could never, ever, ever be duplicated. Yes, there are other manufacturers that make inline-4 engines, like the BMW S1000RR, but not everybody wants to get an S1000RR. Because number one, it costs a whole lot of money, and number two, it's kind of stupid. It's a leader bike for the street, which is one of the reasons why I don't own one. On the street, you'll have a whole lot more fun with something like an R6 or an MT09, or around the same time, hopefully next year, or maybe by the end of this year, we'll see the R9. Hell yeah! I think the price of R6 are going to stabilize simply because of that engine. And not only that, but this, it feels like you're driving a manual car. I'll give you an example. My Porsche 911 is a manual transmission and a naturally aspirated engine. Two things you will never find, well, aside from driving a Porsche, you will never find it in another manufacturer. You may or may not. I would say 95% of manufacturers these days have converted over to the dual clutch transmissions, and they're all paddle shift. It's a numb feeling when you're driving a car, a sports car for that matter. Things are changing, and I think it's changing as well for motorcycles. Everything is becoming electronic, and for fuel emissions and all that other stuff, engine displacement is getting a little bit smaller just to comply with regulations and whatnot. As far as electronics are concerned, the only thing the R6 has is traction control. Other than that, it has ABS, and that's pretty much it. The R6 is one of those motorcycles that they will never ever make again, at least without this much electronics. If you want something that doesn't have electronics at all, then you're gonna have to get something that has less than 600 cc's. I really, really, really love my R6. I'm telling you, I love it, especially now with this new body design. There's nothing like it on the road. This thing has some kind of presence that you can't really tell on camera. You gotta look at it in person. But aside from the bodywork, I still loved it, even in its orange fairings. So it's not even about the fairings, it's just the motorcycle in itself. It excites me. It's a whole lot of fun. I love revving out to 16,000 RPM. But at the same time, if the new R9 looks like a really awesome bike that I can have a lot of fun in, just like I can with the R6, I might add it on top of the R6 and have it right next to it. Why not? You got old school and you got new school, so let's see what happens. I'm really really curious to find out what's going to happen. While I was walking my dog last week, I saw this guy. He had a street triple RS and he was photographing it over there. So I was like, how'd you get in here? He was like, oh, I just went through these pillars here. I was like, that's pretty cool. So he gave me the idea to come out here. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another episode. I'm really excited that Yamaha hasn't yet announced it, but I think it's going to come out. And comment down below, let me know what you think. Now, as far as the price of the R6s, do you think they're going to go down? Or do you think they're going to stay the same for the reasons that I mentioned before? No electronics, inline-4 engine, kind of like a manual car with a naturally aspirated engine. I'm just making a bad example here, but you get what I'm saying. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. I will see you on the next episode. Give this video a like and also subscribe to the channel if you're new. Take care. Ciao for now.